None of y'all heard about days off around here? Seriously, I just wanted to enjoy my weekend. I was not expecting to have to cover more news, but here we are. Looks like Sam Altman is back at OpenAI, speedrunning the Steve Jobs chronicles of going from fired to rehired at your own company. I never would have expected this, certainly not so quickly, but it seems like the distance between the board and the company is so great that this type of thing is going to happen. So let's talk a bit about what just happened, why it happened, and speculate on what caused this and what things are going to look like going forward for OpenAI. First, we need to look at the tweets because almost all of this is unfolded on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. So started here with this out of nowhere tweet. I love the OpenAI team so much from Sam. When this tweet went live, there was also news going around that the team at OpenAI was pushing back really hard on the firing of Sam. It seems like the board made a massive miscalculation where they assumed that the CEO and the employees just weren't that close, which is easy to do when you're the board and you're multiple layers removed from the team. But Sam's focus was never the board. His focus was always the company and the people he was working with every day in making an incredible product. If you look at the quote tweets here, so many of them are from other employees, one of which is really important, and we'll talk about him momentarily. There are so many of these are just other employees of OpenAI offering their support to Sam in this chaotic moment. One of these employees is very important and likely part of why this shift happened. Greg Brockman, GDB. This was breaking news that came out moments after my last video. Greg was supposed to be moved to a different role at the company when Sam was fired, but because of the nature of the circumstances, he was too upset to stay and almost immediately quit. This came hours after the announcement that Sam was fired. So with Greg gone, with Sam fired, and with a team that was rebelling, very upset about these changes, there's almost no way this company would have survived. This is why it makes so much sense that we're seeing a flip back. The board can do whatever it wants with its shares of the company, but they can't control the team. And if the board and the team aren't aligned, that's the job of the CEO to fix. And you can't hire someone in to do that. It also seems like the CTO who was promoted to CEO had no interest in doing this either. She was a huge supporter of Sam's and has also come out supporting the return of Sam at the company. Really quick before we go into the details of what dropped today, I want to share this funny tweet because it kind of confirms what I was talking about in my last video. If I start going off, the OpenAI board should go after me for the full value of my shares, which is hilarious because he doesn't own any shares. This is hilarious. This is Sam wearing a guest badge at OpenAI. And there's also a photo in the replies here of another employee taking a picture of him doing this. And I'll say, this is the most I've ever felt like we're in the middle of a Netflix biopic. Like, this is just straight HBO shit we're seeing happen live in front of us with Sam going to a company he helped start as a guest as they decide whether or not they want him back. So what do I think happened here? I've hinted at it a bit throughout. I think it's pretty simple. Step 1, board feels out of touch. Step 2, board blames Sam. Step 3, they act too actively and fire Sam. Step 4, there's an all hands at the company to tell them all why this happened and why they were letting go of Sam. Step 5, all of the employees push back really hard. I'm assuming that many more were planning on quitting and going wherever Sam went, or just out of solidarity, leaving behind their work at OpenAI due to the nature of this absurd, unexpected firing. I think that response was entirely unexpected by the board, seeing Greg leave, seeing all these other people pushing back. And as a result, they had to walk back their decision. And now we see Sam almost certainly going back to OpenAI. I did not think this would unfold at all, much less over a weekend, but it is a really important update, and it's exciting to see these types of changes happening so fast. The team is what matters in the end, and if the team wasn't happy with these changes, then they need to be walked back. I think this is a classic example of a board that's out of touch with a company and what they're doing. They're too focused on potential impacts and the ways the company affects other things externally. But these are all layers. And at the core, at the very core of any project like OpenAI or any company or startup or anything in the space is the team building it. And if the distance between that team and the board who makes decisions is too great, you're going to see some chaotic stuff start to unfold. My Combinator doesn't even take seats on boards because they think the founders are the ones who should make these types of decisions. And this is, again, why the Sam departure felt so weird to me. Because Sam's the person who should make these types of decisions, not the one who should be affected by them when others make them. To me, this is an expected correction of a board overstepping when they didn't actually understand the needs of the team. And I would expect some people to leave the board as a result. So it's been an interesting journey. Let me know what you thought about it and what you think's up next, because I certainly didn't expect this. If you want to learn more about how fundraising works, I'll pin a video in the corner from my other channel all about fundraising for startups and how these things tend to play out. Appreciate you all a ton as always. Thank you so much. Peace, nerds.